Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Come as Pixels. I am your host, Giggling Joker. Well, one of your hosts, that is, actually. Our other host today isn't here. He had to work, so we are doing it a little bit differently. We got two guests today. We got Mr. Painless, who has been here
Hey
before.
guys, Mr. Painless here.
He has been here before. He came in and did the Destiny stream with us where we did Destiny. And we also have, for the first time on We Come as Pixels, LSU Tiger.
Hey y'all.
We got a little applause going for him. So today, we're doing a little bit something different than we normally do. Usually we talk about games. Today we're not going to talk about games specifically, but more so, we're going to talk about movies that we think could make good games, games that can make good movies, and games that have been made into movies that we thought were good, bad, okay, so on and so forth. You get the memo. So without further ado, let's get started with talking about some movies that have become, or some games that have become movies over the past years. Of course, we've had a lot of really good movies that have become games.
Let's just not even go into the Super Mario movie.
Well, not only was that a Super Mario movie, it's a Super Mario show that wasn't very good. They were
I
pretty
guess you
bad.
could talk about the Pokemon movies.
Well, there's a Pokemon TV show. Wasn't that was a show before it was a game though?
No.
No, it was a game first.
Was
It was
it?
a game
It's a
first.
Game Boy
Japan.
game.
Yes, it was.
I did not know
Game
that.
Boy Color. Hey.
Yeah, it was a game first. It was a card game and then a video game and then became popular here in the States and then
Yeah, I know that
out of it.
about like I've actually never watched Pokemon.
Really?
When growing up, my mom didn't like it. She thought it was evil, so
No.
I didn't get to watch it.
I watched it and when it came out I was probably I don't know, maybe 16, 15 or 16 and I felt dumb for watching it, but I felt like it's like I need to watch this. And I couldn't tell anybody that I watched it.
Well, nowadays, like teenagers watch it all the time. I have friends now that watch it. They also watch like all this anime stuff that I honestly personally don't get into it. I don't really like anime. I'm not really a big cartoon person. I do like older cartoons like Tom and Jerry though. You know, like the stuff I grew up with. I guess I like watching. So.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We go back to.
Oh yeah, and it's still just as funny as it always was. So with over the past few years, they've made a lot of good games into good movies. In my opinion, they've got like World of Warcraft. They made Warcraft. They made Angry Birds movie, which I thought was hilarious.
I have not seen it, so I probably need to see it.
It is funny.
Yeah,
I was
Listen,
surprised at World of Warcraft how beautiful it was, and it was a pretty good story.
well,
Not
it's
a lot of
lore.
bashing, but
It's based on the lore of the game, so obviously it's not gonna have the stuff that you play in the game because it's an MMORPG. You're running around killing all these monsters at a time, but for a movie that's based on a game like that, I don't think you could have got much better. And the way that they followed the lore, it was really well. I don't know if I don't know a lot about the World of Warcraft lore, but I used to play it with my uncle. So,
yeah.
like knowing the little bit of lore that I actually know, like it followed it really well, I thought. And the story in it was really good too. And
Well, that's what I really think that a lot of studios they don't get, and maybe they're starting to get it now. The story, they take a video game or they take a comic that's popular, and then they take a movie, and they try to do like almost like a literal translation,
mhm.
and it just doesn't play well. Yeah, I remember when like when Mortal Kombat came out, that was actually pretty good.
I like that movie.
Yeah, I did. I liked the first one. The second one, you know,
Are you talking about like
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 10? Because I know that like there was the movie that the one movie that they made, the one with the big guy with the forearms. Um,
yeah.
that one was based off of the 10th video game, which was like years and years before. So the 10th video game obviously came out recently, like a few years ago. But that movie was based on what was going to happen in this game, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, you know, that's what I think a lot of it is that they try to make it. You know, you can't take something and make it too literal. You know, about a game is you need to take and the story and there's because there's so much into it. You know, like what's the even though this started off as a movie series, but the game, The Knights of the Old Republic, was an amazing game, and the story was amazing behind it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if they took that story, that would be something that would be amazing to tell right now.
Oh yeah.
For you know, still staying on Mortal Kombat a little bit. Did you guys ever see the YouTube short movies they did on Mortal Kombat? They did like they were trying to do it like a see if it would carry on. And it was kind of all the characters were kind of based on currently, you know, our world right now, more down to earth. Ever if I find it, I'll say they were pretty good stories. It was actually really neat. Let's say like the one character, God, what's the one? It was Scorpion. With you know, he has the like the spear that comes out of the hand.
Yeah,
he
Scorpio,
was
or Scorpion.
Kind of told his story of how he was this guy. He was like this Japanese. I don't know if he was a you know warrior from that era and his family, and he family and whatever happened to him and how he became Scorpion and his character. It was actually pretty neat, and they have other stuff too with like.
Painless.
Painless.
You're like, you just cut out really bad there.
I'm sorry.
I can hear you a little bit. Like it keeps going in and out right now.
Sorry. Anyways, so you know, I think for me, as long as they take the stuff as
well, what I think, yeah, I think yeah, what I think, they've made, okay, so they have made, like you're talking about, I haven't seen the YouTube things that you're talking about, but I'm guessing like it's probably like telling backstories is what you mean.
Yes. Yeah.
Which if you're going to make,
that's where like the lore comes in.
yeah, and that's the thing with movies. If you're basing a movie off of a video game story is so in depth nowadays, and even back in the day. Like, to be honest, even like Mario had a really, really in depth story behind it, even though it was just a 2D platform. You can't really take a game like say Horizon Zero Dawn. I think that if you were to make Horizon Zero Dawn into a movie, it would be a good movie, but you're not going to be able to take the things that are in Horizon Zero Dawn that you see all the time and keep it coming back in the movie, because it would make the movie boring. In the game, you're living it, you're playing it. So in the movie, you'll see maybe like five of the...
I feel like the Horizon Zero Dawn one would do well, though.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. I think that would be a really good movie. What I mean by that is, like, you know how like if you go and you fight the robot dinosaurs, and you'll see like all these robot dinosaurs all over the place, and then like you'll come across one really big one, and then later on you'll fight the same really big one. It'll just be in a different location. In the movie, you would see her fight a whole bunch of different of the little ones, but you would only see that big one that you fought in the game maybe 3 or 4 times once, because you have to condense it to where the game, you're getting the aspects that are in the game, but you're also getting the cinematic like appeal and the Hollywood effect on the in the movie to where you're gonna like, you get what I'm saying? Where like if you fight the same thing over and over again, it's gonna get boring.
Exactly. You know, something like, like what we've been playing today, Diablo would probably make an amazing. It'd probably be actually not so much as a movie, but maybe like something where it was an anthology series.
Wasn't Diablo a book?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. It's been so long since it came out. I'm not sure. Not sure on its origins.
So, I think Diablo. I just looked it up. Diablo was a book originally. It wasn't like exactly the same as the game, obviously, because like I said, like with the effects in the book and the effects in a movie, it's going to be a lot different than it is in a game, because you're not living it. You can't really go and fight all these different creatures inside of all these different dungeons that we're doing over and over again, because it would
but the campaign and so much is the story.
The story is like you can lead. So let's take Assassin's Creed for example. Okay, in the Assassin's Creed games, there's like you go through and you kill all these bad guys, and you're trying to find out things from the past so you can help out what's going on in the real time. And in the movie, instead you go into the past like you do in the game, or he does. You don't, because you're not him this time. But unlike the game, you're only in you can spend 8 to 10 hours in an Assassin's Creed game end game, but in the movie they had to take it and make it an hour and 30 minutes, maybe 2 hours if they have the budget for 2 hours. And it was really, I thought that the Assassin's Creed movie was really good. It got a lot of hate when it came out, just like the Warcraft movie did. But for a company taking a game that's going to be really, really in depth, and it's really hard to make a game into a movie. It's not so hard to take a movie and make it into a game, because you've got the linear story. You know what's going to happen, so you can expand on it and make it a little bit better to make the game more enjoyable for the person playing it. But with the game, it's already so in depth that you can't really, if you condense it too much, the people who really, really like the game aren't going to like it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. I agree that.
I mean, I can't really talk about Assassin's Creed. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to be honest. I listened to the critic, and I wasn't going to see it because of all the bad reviews that it got.
Well, in my opinion, the Assassin's Creed games are terrible. Like
I really liked the first one, the original Assassin's Creed. Like, that one was epic. But then you got into the American Revolution and stuff, and that really kind of drove me up a wall.
Well, you're a history teacher too, so
yeah.
It's going to drive you up a wall.
Well, especially when you have someone who says, well, you can just scale the wall and assassinate this person. This is not Assassin's Creed. That doesn't happen in real life.
Yeah, well, as for me, I liked the Assassin's Creed movie when I saw it. I did see what the critics said, and I was skeptical going in. So maybe that's like the same thing happened when I watched Suicide Squad. So many people disliked it and downed it to me whenever I went and saw it. I actually really enjoyed it.
Right.
So like if you put it down so much, if you go in with low expectations,
But I mean, like, take the Tomb Raider series for example. They did a good job with those movies.
Oh yeah, especially with the fact like it's hard to find. It would be really hard to find a Lara Croft in real life.
Right. Well, you have the first two. The first two I saw that was Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. She
was great as Lara Croft. She played it really well. I haven't seen the one with Alicia Vikander yet, but I haven't played much of the game, but from what I can tell, just cinematically, the Lara Croft movies were really good.
Oh yeah, and like any movie, based off of a video game. It wasn't like the video games. It was similar to the video games, whereas she was going through and she's this really, really awesome woman who's like climbing up stuff and shooting arrows and killing everybody. But they had to change the aspects of it to make it, one, more believable, because you can do some crazy things in video games, and there's crazy things that happen in movies too, but like, you're gonna see, you can feel that it's Lara Croft in the movies, but it's just it's on a condensed level. It's not the same. It's the same Lara Croft, but it's different from the Lara Croft from the video games.
I haven't seen the ones with Angelina Jolie because I've never really been impressed with her as an actress, so I just did not like her. I do want to see the new one.
I haven't seen the new one yet. I probably will watch it eventually, though.
Yeah.
Another.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to come out on DVD.
Yeah. Another good game that I think would make a good movie would be Kingdom Hearts. Like, I don't know. I know that you guys don't really. Well, I know Painless doesn't really like Kingdom, or didn't really. He hasn't really played them, so I can't really say he doesn't like them.
I mean, I've played them, but I think the thing with Kingdom Hearts is it pulls in too many of the different franchises for Disney. It's going to be real hard to make a movie that pulls in all those different Disney storylines.
But what I was thinking is more along the lines of like a whole like different, like have the maybe Donald and Goofy and Mickey in it, which would still be difficult if you're trying to make a movie and you're not Disney, but to have like the ability, like to not use all the Disney worlds from the game, because they're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to have them travel, but maybe just tell like a story of them fighting off the organization in a movie. Like they had the 90-minute like short film thing that they had in the newest game, where it told the backstory, which in my opinion wasn't enough, because there's just so much backstory in Kingdom Hearts, you can't really tell it in 90 minutes. And they didn't even get into the Keyblade War, but I don't want to get into that because I could talk all day about Kingdom Hearts. But in like, just take like maybe Sora going from Traverse Town and going into Hollow Bastion and fighting off Xemnas, maybe. I don't know. It'd be hard, but it'd be fun to watch, in my opinion. It'd be a very hard to make game or a movie, but
well, would it be live action or would it be animated?
Well, they use a lot of like cinematic trailers, and not trailers, but like cutscenes. So it's still animated, but it's more like, have you seen like the Final Fantasy movies?
I saw that one animated one, whichever the one that came out years ago.
Like the one with Cloud and
I can't remember the name of it.
It was like
the one
Advent Child.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember. It was a CGI one. It was like all hyped for the movie theaters.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like they could make it into like a CGI type thing.
Yeah. I
think that would go over really well. And especially for fans, not only of Kingdom Hearts, but of Square. Because Square Enix has... I've not played a Square Enix game that I didn't like. Like, they made the Tomb Raider games. They made Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Blue Dragon, which nobody knows.
Now, I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this. I'm not a huge Final Fantasy fan. Now, I may watch movies if they ever release them.
They have released some.
You know.
LSU. Yeah, I'm kind of the same with you, LSU, on the Final Fantasy.
Well, I don't like Final Fantasy for the gameplay, though. That's me. I like Final Fantasy for the story. Because the stories in Final Fantasy are probably some of the best stories ever told in a video game.
Yeah.
Like, they're really in-depth and they're really
But, I mean, you can also look at games, not strictly just video games, but even, like, card games. Dungeons and Dragons. They tried to do those with films. It didn't work very well.
And that's where it coming down to the whole, almost like the literal translation of, it's like you can't do that. You have to take the lore and, like we talked about, and
well, not only that, but
they've
tried to make Dungeons and Dragons in the video games, and it didn't work.
Yeah,
they had Nevermore, which there are people who play that, and I played it for a little while. I didn't really get into it though. It was another massive multiplayer game that was free.
And that's something you have to. I mean, like some of the card games and the book games of Dungeons and Dragons and other stuff is, there's so much lore because there's so much books and history and stuff that they've written over it. It's like, where do you start?
Go ahead.
And for me, because I'm going to go ahead and drop this one right now, I think would make an amazing anthology would be Destiny.
Yes.
We've all loved the game, but you can't. For me, I would almost see it like every season is you kind of just tell the story, not really so much as setting on one character, but just what happens.
Or maybe like if you
season is maybe when the Traveler first shows in Solar System.
Maybe do something like that where you tell something before, because there is a lot of lore in Destiny 1. I don't want to get into Destiny 2 because I hate that game. I don't want to talk about it. But in Destiny...
Okay, but there's still even lore with Destiny 2.
Yeah, but it kind of contradicts the lore from Destiny 1. I think that's what I kind of hate the most about it. Is that
because it's an expansion. It's not a whole new game.
Yeah, so
what it is. Yeah. But it's like with the Destiny there's so much. Not only is there so much lore, but there's so much time has passed that
exactly. So what I would, if they were to make a Destiny movie, what I would want to see personally, as a fan of the original Destiny and wanting to be a fan of the second Destiny, but as a fan of Destiny, I'm just say that I would want to see them make a movie about what happened before my ghost found me. There's all this lore, and you got all these creatures coming. You got the Traveler coming. I want to see a movie about the Traveler actually showing up to Earth. All this war mayhem breaking out, and the Traveler, the tower being built, and how the speaker, I want to see how he came into role. I want to see where he came from, what his story is. How did Zavala and Cade and Ikora get this big name, because they're the most powerful names in the Destiny community.
Right.
And then not only that, but where are the 9? I want to see all of the 9, not just the ones that were kicked out like Osiris, which Osiris was my favorite anyway because I love Trials. But I want to see what factor does the 9 actually play in the Destiny world. They have not done anything in the games. And then Xur, where does Xur come from? Nobody knows. Did he just show up and start accepting strange coins one day? Yeah, that's what that's exactly what happened in the game. There's we don't know enough about these things, and if they were to make a movie, you gave us lore, you gave us a game that was really good, and a game that was a beautiful game and had a decent story. It wasn't processed well. That's what I'll say about Destiny 2. It wasn't processed well.
I really think that what you said exactly is, and this is what I think it would be. Season 1 would be the Traveler arriving.
Maybe that would be a good
the Ares mission going there and humanity discovering this, and then maybe even at the end of Season 1 or partly way through Season 2, the collapse happens. Because I don't think you can center on one character, get invested in any one character with it, because it is so. It's hundreds of years, that humanity, has been going on, and it would take 20 years to tell the story if they try to fast forward through anything, So that's why I think that's just what I'm saying.
So maybe like make it into a TV show instead of a movie.
Well, yeah, like I said, like an anthology type of thing, like an HBO or maybe even one of the other big networks where they got the money, AMC, really HBO and stuff, where they have the money to drop, even Netflix or Amazon.
Yeah, like a Netflix original TV show, that would be great. And to be honest, I would watch it because I am a fan of the Destiny lore. I'm a huge I used to, like, when I would go to bed, I would lay in bed reading the lore that I had, and then, like, I had a whole playlist on YouTube that was full of Destiny lore that I would just listen to whenever I was doing nothing else. So, like, there's so much potential for a movie or a TV. I think a TV show would have more potential than a movie for Destiny.
Yeah, it definitely would.
There's so much potential there. Like, you could make, not only would you make a lot of money off of it, but it would just be something that people would really, really like to see. And because it's a video game, you would draw in the video game community, but with the story that could potentially be told, not only would you invest or have video gamers invested in the story, but people who just like sci-fi, like TV shows, would be very, very invested in the TV show if it was done correctly. And that's the thing, though, is if it's done correctly.
As you said, it has to be done correctly.
You can't do it wrong.
What else is? What else out there? Now we've talked about games to movies. I mean, you mentioned about. Oh, actually, hold on, another one, Halo.
Okay,
they had a Halo.
They had that blue versus red TV show back on Netflix I don't know if you guys ever watched that. That was the stupidest show I had ever watched. It was so funny though, where it was like 3 characters on the red side and 3 characters on the blue side, and it was like a war was going on. If you ever get the chance, like, watch it, because they're like hour-long episodes, but they are really well done and they are funny. Which they were meant to be comedy movies or shows. I
remember a Halo movie.
Yeah, so as for the Halo stuff, I feel like it would be. I'm gonna look and see if there was a Halo movie, because now that you're saying it, like, I'm thinking of it too.
Halo Reach.
No, it's Forward and Drawn.
Because I know there was a Mass Effect movie.
Or Forward into Dawn was the movie.
Yeah, that was that like a web series, right?
Yeah, so that was it was supposed to be like, it didn't really, I don't think it lasted very long. It was like a web series, like Painless is saying, where it was really well done though. Like, it was very, like, the animation for Master Chief, and then like the way that they had the people involved, it was really well done. But like, just to see like a movie for Halo, I don't think there has been one. But I would think, I wasn't really a huge fan of the Halo series when I played them. The one I really liked was 3. I really, really liked 3. But for the that would probably, I think, for a nostalgic thing, it would sell really well for gamers and as a movie. Probably.
For what, Halo?
Yeah, for Halo. I don't
like
it's hard to say.
I almost think like the very first game could be translated very well over to it.
And there's a lot of games that could be transferred well over into movies, I think. Like Mass Effect, I think obviously you wouldn't get the in-depth story that you get in Mass Effect like any other game that would be turned into a movie, but I think you could really, really do a well movie with Mass Effect as well. Just because of,
I think you could, yeah.
Because like obviously it would be a linear movie because all the Mass Effect games are very, very spread out. Like you could do pretty much anything. You can kill off anybody. Like it's very, very your own path, and the movie would have to be a linear path, obviously, and you would see how it goes out. But I think that as a movie, if you made a Mass Effect movie and it was done correctly, I know that I've said that a couple times already, it would be a really, really, really good movie. But it's all like, that's the thing about making a game into a movie or making a movie into a game, is if you don't have the right people working on it, it's not gonna go well. So let's talk. Okay, we've talked about movies into games, games into movies a little bit. We'll probably get back into that eventually. But let's talk about games, or let's talk about movies that aren't so much based off of a video game, but are based on video games. So like Ready Player One just came out. I haven't seen it yet. Painless.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
You were going to go see it, but you didn't get to. Ellis, I don't know about you. I am probably going to end up going and seeing that like within the next week or so, because that looks amazing. I haven't looked at any critics. I haven't looked at anything online about it because I don't want them to ruin it or say anything about it that I don't want to hear. But that movie, Steven Spielberg, didn't he direct it? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Steven Spielberg.
I have no idea. I haven't seen it. I haven't.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg was the.
That's what I thought. And Steven Spielberg's an amazing director. If you don't like Steven Spielberg, then you have not you're not a very, very movie person. That's all I'm saying. Because like Steven Spielberg, I don't know if you guys know who I know you guys do, but like the people watching. But he made the Jurassic Park he directed the Jurassic Park movies, or I don't think he did the newer ones, but he did the older ones, or maybe he didn't do the newest one, but he did like Jaws.
I don't remember. I can't remember what he.
E.T. Like it's movies that we grew up with. I grew up with them. You guys grew up with them too. Some of them. But like they're such great movies. LSU. I got a question. Do you use Saving Private Ryan as a?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not okay. So like my teacher used to use Saving Private Ryan as like a movie that we would watch during the I think it was World War II.
World War II.
Yeah. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is that Steven Spielberg is a phenomenal director, and I know that this movie is going to be great when I go and see it, because it looks fantastic. I remember I saw the trailer for it when I went and saw It, the new It movie that just came out in October, and I was wanting to go see it then. So I think what'd you say?
I said for Ready Player One.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I think that that's one of the greatest. I think that you couldn't got a better director to direct a movie, and for it to be a movie about video gaming. Yeah, for it to be a movie about video gaming, it kind of hits it close to home. So I'm really excited to see it. Like, I can't say that enough. Then they had like Video Game High School. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was a TV show, which was about a kid.
Yeah, I saw that on Netflix.
It was about a kid who went into
I didn't even see that one. I didn't even know what that one is.
Yeah, it's about a kid that goes to he goes to a school just for video gaming. That one, I think that was really, really funny, which was what it was meant to be. So it was good. I don't think they really had the budget to do anything really, really spectacular with it, but they had some really good moments. And as a video game fan, like, you relate, and as a gamer, you relate to the kid who's in the show really well. Which, if you're watching this podcast, and 9 times out of 10, you're a video gamer who's wanting to listen about movies and video games and all this good stuff. So if you haven't seen Video Game High School, I really recommend it. It's really good to relate. So I want to kind of wrap up now. Talk about a couple more movies or games that I would like to see become movies. What games do you want to see become movies? Like your biggest fantasy into a movie. Painless.
I don't know what else there would be that. I mean, there's so many video games that people will love and stuff that just, I can't.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see a Fortnite movie.
Well, you'll definitely see a Fortnite movie within the next 10 years. Then they have a Minecraft movie. I
probably do.
They probably did a Minecraft movie.
I think I saw something about a Minecraft movie, but you're gonna see a Fortnite movie, and if not, then you've already saw the Hunger Games. So it's basically
no kidding.
It's basically the same thing, just on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
And the Fortnite movie would have to be a comedy. It just
be a big meme fest.
Yeah, it would have to be just a big old comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny to see a Fortnite movie in squads though, it's a squad movie. Maybe do a solo movie, a duo movie, and a squad movie. I think we talked about that already.
Yeah.
Where it's
we were talking
one
about it.
woman, 99 enemies, one island, one battle bus. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Maybe the whole movie's action packed. That would be great.
Witcher might be
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
That's a great one right there.
That's a really
The
good
Witcher
one.
3 more specifically.
Witcher 3, yeah.
The other you don't hear nothing about the other two.
You could do Geralt, and then you could do Ciri as well. Oh, go to sleep, phone. You could look at it from both perspectives.
Oh yeah, and I think that'd be a really, really interesting. Because I played a little bit of The Witcher. I didn't play it all the way through because that's a long game.
Oh, it's so worth it though.
Oh yeah,
Sorry, off topic, but
it's
so worth it.
I know it is. It's a lot of gigs.
Yeah, but no, the Witcher movie that would be a good movie.
That'd be a great movie. And you were talking about we were talking about this is kind of backtracking a little bit. We were talking about World of Warcraft earlier, or not World of Warcraft, Dungeons and Dragons. It's really, I think that if they were to make a Dungeons and Dragons movie now, the older, I know that they did one in the past that was pretty bad.
It may do better now.
I feel like the way, we have really, there is so much, I don't think people realize how, technologically advanced we are nowadays. They say it.
No, but I mean, even so, you look at it, it came out, 10 years ago?
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, still being, you still had that stigma associated with it. Oh, it's Dungeons and Dragons, but now so much has changed in terms of society and stuff, and you see a lot more of these gaming movies that are coming out based on video games or based on card games or anything like that. And I think there would be much more of a following. I mean, even on YouTube, the top 3 viewed channels are all gaming channels.
Oh yeah, and
it tell you something.
Yeah.
Gaming is the thing right now. It's gaming is what movies were 30 years ago.
Yes.
And movies is what music was before that. Which music has really bounced back nowadays too, because now without music it's the world is nothing. But in original, music was so huge when it first happened. When people first started playing music, it was whoa, what are they doing? That's cool. Which was in the BC, it was before that. It was a long time ago. So, and then
I love the 1790s.
You get to the 1900s where you're getting these moving pictures and people are freaking out, but now you can actually live inside of these moving pictures, and that's what that's where a lot of people don't realize about gamers. It's like they talk about people like rotting their brains playing video games and all this, which it's in all.
I don't think it's necessarily rotting their brains, and I think it's more of it's a secondary source that people need to look at and understand that you're living these things. Yes, they're fantasy, but it's almost like reading a book
or watching a movie. It's the same thing as watching a movie, except you control it.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
well, and you know, another thing too is that, not that it's video games, they have been video games, but like with the Marvel movies and or even, you know, the DC movies, they're getting big name actors, and that draws the audience. It draws the audience in. And then another thing too is that a lot of the directors are people like our age and grew up watching those same movies and reading those same comic books and playing those same games, you know, are putting those, you know, finally putting their ideas on the screen.
Oh yeah, and then like now, like the people like me, like not me, but like the people that are my age are growing up, and they're seeing like all these games that they used to play when they were younger, and they're gonna make those in the movies, and like it's just gonna be a long line of like, just that's just how it's gonna happen now. Video games are in.
The next level of movie though is gonna be almost like this like you remember those old time books, like you'd read it and it'd say if you want to like go down this path, turn to page 12. If you want to do this, turn to page 15.
Yeah.
You know.
Like
that's gonna be the next level of movie. It's gonna be interactive, almost like a video game, except you're not controlling the characters, but you make their decision.
That'd be really hard. I like thinking about that. That'd be hard to process.
But it would be like your major, you know, like, take like Walking Dead, which is now a video game too. You know, you have like major choices. You know, do you run from the person or do you stay and help them? You know, and it'll change. And I'm not saying it has to be like every single decision in the movie. I'm just saying it's the big ones.
Oh yeah. That'd be very interesting now that you're saying it. But this is going to be the first part of the movies and the video games. We are going to do a second one later on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, follow us on Twitter. I'll have the links in the description. Follow us on Twitch. I'll have that in the description as well. And I hope you guys have a great day.
Bye, everyone.